She was spinning such a sad tale, I could not believe the yarn that she was weaving.
Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Beautiful. Welcome to Tucson New Thought. Let's get this rolling with our first song of the day. I know the truth about you, right?
Super easy. Ooh, hello. It's a super easy song. The lyrics are all up there. You can follow along. I know the truth about you. I feel the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is all right. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is all right. I see you dripping with abundance and ease. I see you enjoying the life you please. Playful at work and creative at play. I see you in gratitude for every day. And I say, I know the truth about you. I feel the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is all right. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is all right. I know the dreams of your heart want to fly. It's time to spread your wings and give it a try. The love you give, you know you're bound to receive. Your good can only grow the more you believe. Come on now, I know the truth about you. I feel the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is all right. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Your biggest self can't be denied. You've got no place to hide because I know the truth about you. I feel the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is all right. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is all right. Indeed it is. I think it skipped a whole... No, it didn't. Well, that's okay. We'll leave it there for now.
You know, technical things are always wonderful, and they work well until they don't work. Get it? So we are, welcome to Tucson New Thought. I am Reverend Jonathan Zenz. I'm the spiritual director here, and it is my pleasure to have you join us this morning in this celebration of this thing called life. We come here for one thing, one purpose, one idea. We come here to know one thing and one thing only, and that is that right where each and every one of us is the expression of love. Love, which is the infinite creative force that from which everything that exists has sprung forth. And so that is who and what we are. So what do you say we celebrate that today? Does that sound like a good plan? Yes. Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Our vision here is to create a world that works for everyone. And we do this, we teach that this becomes what happens when we provide practical tools for personal transformation and awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Because my belief is, and the fundamental premise of New Thought is, that as we engage in spiritual practice in a practical way, we make our lives better, and that expands beyond just us and everybody around us. Their lives get better too. So what do you say we do that today? There is something that I would like, so those of you who have been here before, there are new people in the room, and I don't make new people stand up and introduce themselves, but what I would like all of us who've been here before to do is to simply acknowledge what we know about the new people who are in the room, and that is this: you are magnificent. You are magnificent, and we know that about you because it is a fundamental truth, and you are simply a reflection of who and what we are. So what I know is that I am magnificent, and I think we should all claim for ourselves, I am magnificent. What do you say? 1, 2, 3. I am magnificent. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone at any point of their spiritual path is welcome here. And we are here for connection, not just here at Tucson New Thought for connection, but here in this world to connect. So what do you say we spend a couple moments to connect with our friends and neighbors and let them know their magnificence in our own unique way? And I do want to say good morning to everyone who's watching us online and say thank you for joining us this morning. It is such a pleasure to know that we are connected through this thing called technology and how magnificent that is. And I know this about you, that you are magnificent. Magnificent. We have a special offering today from Darwin, who has a little story to tell us. So if you would please welcome Darwin.
Good morning. In 1987, I went with a group of artists, musicians, dancers on the Artist Ambassadors Tour of the Soviet Union. We visited a grade school in Moscow on the first day of school, which was Peace Day in the Soviet Union. They were celebrating Peace Day and were honoring an American girl from Maine who in 1983, at the age of 10, had written to the then Soviet leader, Yuri Andropov, during the height of the Cold War. Samantha Smith had seen a picture of Andropov on the cover of Time magazine, and the world was all fear about nuclear war because he had been quite active in that area, was responsible for suppressing the revolts in Poland. And she said to her mother, if everyone's so afraid of him, why doesn't somebody write to him and ask him whether or not he wants nuclear war? Her mother said, you should do it. And so she did. Andropov answered her letter and invited her to visit the Soviet Union, visit him in Moscow. She became an instant sensation in the Soviet Union, Japan, and all around the world. Samantha became a World Peace Ambassador until her untimely death in a plane crash in 1985 at the age of 13. She is now a hero in the Soviet Union and Russia, with a statue, diamonds, flowers, a ship, and a postage stamp in her honor. I've left some information here about her legacy and a picture of her and her postage stamp.
So with that, I draw your attention to the Peace Candle, which today we honor in memory of Samantha Smith. And I wanted to share this as well. Yesterday was the United Nations International Day of Peace, and I think that it is definitely something to be acknowledged here. And with the relationship of the Peace Candle, I've usually read a modified prayer for protection by James Dillett Freeman, but I have another thing that I would like to read today, and it is a prayer for world peace by Ernest Holmes. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern there is infinite harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of each person, being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. I know there shall be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and scientific discoveries, for all good belongs to all alike. I know that because the divine mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual, but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. So it is now, and so it is. We also do a ceremony every week called Lighting the Flames of Faith, where we ceremonially honor the common thread that flows through all religious paths, all spiritual traditions, and all faiths, and that is love. There's a golden thread of love at the core of all of it. And so for each candle that we light, we are honoring that golden thread. So we first light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And the final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. For that is the true nature of healing, the revelation of divinity, of this creative nature of love. This is your candle, to illuminate whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. I invite you to relax right where you are as we settle into this truth and drop it down. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping
down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. Here's what I know. That there is a power and presence that is perfectly expressing itself right here and right now, for it is all there is. And it is expressing itself by means of each and every one of us, for we are never separate from this infinite divine power. We are this infinite divine power expressed as us right here, perfectly flowing forth in an evolutionary manner. This is who and what we are. And so this time that we have chosen to be together is a time that is blessed, it is open, it is productive, it is inspiring, it is perfect. So I trust in the flow, and I allow, with deep gratitude in my heart, this perfection. I let it be so as I release this word and know it to be true. As together we say, and so it is. Surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love.
There's a different energy today. I don't know what it is, but it's good. It's a good energy. It's just expressing and revealing itself in a very new way for me today. So that's all I'm going to say about that. There's just something's brewing in my heart. As always, well, not as always, as we have begun the last several weeks and months to expand how we experience our inspiration here, I've started inviting people to join us to do a reading and a reflection on that reading, and then lead us in the affirmation of the month. And we have a very special offering today by Reverend Jerry Strautmeyer. So please welcome Reverend Jerry. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's the affirmation?
It is on this page right there.
Don't want to get lost. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's such a delight to be up here and to see so many of my friends out there. It just makes me really happy. It makes me happy anytime that we get to celebrate peace. And so, happy Peace Day.
Mm-hmm.
Up. Darwin says more. I'm a little nervous. Okay. So, we're going to celebrate peace today, even though there's war everywhere, and I wonder why that is. Can anybody say, why do we celebrate peace while they're in the midst of war? Yep, rhetorical question. Well, in New Thought, why do we celebrate health in the midst of illness? Why do we celebrate companionship in the midst of loneliness? We do that because we know of the truth of who we are, that we've just been talking about and singing about and knowing about. We know that the presence and the power is here within us, and able to create anything, miracles, wonderful miracles. But the miracle we're talking about today is peace, and that seems really big. It seems bigger, doesn't it, than finding a friend, a new friend. So I would like to think about envisioning a world where peace is possible. That peace that passes understanding. What would that world look like? What would it look like if we had a world where peace was possible? Another rhetorical question. Peace has always been important to me. I was born in 1941, right after Pearl Harbor. So I was one of the first war babies from the United States. And I grew up in the Netherlands after the war, in post-war Netherlands, where I played in bomb holes that used to be people's houses, and it used to be people's businesses. And there was a lot of grief, of course, and anger and anguish, really, in the Netherlands as I was growing up, because there'd been so much destruction and so much death and so much terror during the years prior. And so peace became important to me. And then, guess what? When I was in my late teens and early 20s, I went to UC Berkeley. And guess what was happening? The Vietnam War. And people were being drafted to go someplace they didn't want to go and do some things that they didn't want to do. And peace became very important to many, many, many of us. And so we were out in the streets demonstrating. The police were riding by in their horses and coming to our locked arms and stuff. And so I have to say that I was an anti-war activist at that time. But something shifted in me after I came to New Thought. I realized that if all the wars stopped today, there'd be new wars tomorrow unless there was a shift in some kind of consciousness, because that which causes the war is still continuing on. And if we don't do something to change that, then just making sure we don't get into this war, the one that's being talked about today, or the one that we've been in for 18 years. Just because we stop that war does not mean that we're going to have peace, because that's not where people are at. So let me share a quote from Thomas Troward, one of the fathers of New Thought, who said, speaking of principle, "The law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things, but by contemplating the floating of things which float naturally, and then intelligently asking why they did so." Well, to apply that to the questions we're asking today, I ask you, when peace is working, what makes it so? What makes it so that peace is going to work? That's another way of asking what the world would look like if peace was possible. So that's really big, but we can take it down to our own lives and ask, what does it look like in a workplace where peace is possible? What does it look like in a family where peace is possible? Right? We can take the principles that make it work in our family or our workplace or our church. We can take those principles and apply them out to the world. And so I say there's one thing that I know for sure that can cause peace to flourish. One thing, and one thing only, and that is love. Where there's more love, there's more peace, and I'll show you more. So I'm not just talking about the feeling of love, as wonderful as that is, and as important as it is, but I'm talking about love in action. What if we looked out at the world through eyes of namaste consciousness? What if we looked out at the world the way we did this morning when we talked to each other, we looked each other in the eyes, we hugged each other and said, "You are magnificent." What if we saw that, not just in the people that we love, but in every human being, every being that we meet? What if everybody, we could look out and say, somewhere, even if I disagree with you, even if you've hurt me, somewhere in there there's magnificence. I see the magnificence in you. I see the love within you. I see that there's love deep in your heart, because that's the truth of all of us. And so what if we started out with namaste consciousness? Then if I saw you as magnificent, as a divine being, I think then don't I listen to you when you talk? Don't I cooperate with you when we're doing a project? What if love looked like? What would peace look like if we were forgiving each other? Wouldn't we be compassionate toward each other if we knew that this other being was a precious, precious child of God? Wouldn't we have equality if everybody was looking out and seeing the divine presence within each other? The things that make peace work, the things that make peace work all come from love. And they come from the actions of love, not just the feeling of love, but the actions of love. And so then I ask, these things aren't always easy, you know? If someone has offended me, it's not always easy to forgive them. If someone is leading our country in a way that I don't approve of, it's not always easy to send blessings. To see the divinity in that person is sometimes very difficult. It's a spiritual exercise because we're spiritual beings. I promise you can do that spiritual exercise. Now you've got your homework, right? So we can agree that in a family, in a workplace, and in the world in general, if there's more love and there's more love in action, there's going to be more peace. Can we agree about that? Yeah. All right. So where's that love supposed to come from? Well, it's right here. It's in every single person, and it's in us. And so I have a second quote, one from Michael Beckwith, the spiritual leader of Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, and it's very short. It says, love, you're not meant to wait for it. You're not meant to search for it. You're meant to generate it. You're meant to generate love. Well, how are you going to do that? You know, on some days that's really easy. Sitting here this morning, that's pretty easy. It's not easy every other day. And so how do you get to the place where you generate more love? Any ideas? Well, Meditate, that's good.
Practice.
I love it. Well, you know, we're really lucky because we find ourselves here in a community that's a high energy spiritual community, and by the time we've come from our celebration where we've heard Reverend Jonathan, where we've sung wonderful songs and high energy songs, and we've hugged each other a bunch of times and looked into each other's eyes, you know, we're working our love muscle. Heart is a muscle. We work our heart muscle really hard every single time we come to this center. And so I say we're the lucky ones because we know where to come when that love doesn't just sort of pop up naturally when we wake up in the morning, which sometimes happens. Am I the only one? Oh, good. Good. So we come here and we fill up our cups of love to overflowing. And then when our cups are full to overflowing, we have love energy to give to compassion, to forgiveness, to sending blessings to people we love. And so I want to say one thing we can do to create more peace in the world is to help build this center. I'm so excited. I have to say, you know, I haven't been here very long in this center, and it's just been such a blessing. Reverend Jonathan, I just want you to know, it's been such a blessing in my life to come here every week and get filled up. I've come from a place that hasn't been so nice a couple months back, and it's really been helpful to me, and it helps me, it reinforces all these things that I'm talking about that I've believed in and taught for years. Okay, so let's find new ways to put love into action. Let's find new ways. Think about when something happens to you this week that's got your goat. Think about a way that love would handle that situation and make more peace happen. And if you think that you're too small to not enough to make anything happen beyond your own heart, think of little Samantha, little 10-year-old Samantha, who sat down and wrote a letter to one of the most powerful people in the world and changed everything for a lot of people. Namaste. I see and adore the magnificence in you.
Right there.
It's time for our affirmation. It's in the front of your program, I think. It's on the screen behind me. That's where it is, right up there. So I'm going to read it through once, and then I'll ask you to read it with me another couple of times. The affirmation for this week is, or for this month is, I'm free to be me, living life fully and fearlessly. Together, I am free to be me, living life fully and fearlessly. Again, I am free to be me, living life fully and fearlessly.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Pleasure, as always. I'll let you take that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am free to be me, living life fully and fearlessly, and we have a great gift of someone who lives fully and fearlessly. You've just taken 5 pages of my talk, which might be a good thing.
I took pages of your talk.
Yeah,
I didn't want to do that.
there they are. Oh. I'm glad I noticed that. I could wing it. That would be easy. But here's the deal. We are free to live life fully and fearlessly, and there's someone who so magnificently expresses himself fully and fearlessly in his music, and I am so grateful that he has decided to grace us with his musicality today. Please welcome Darwin.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Down in my soul, I've got peace like a river. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Thank you so much. And Christy Andrews on keys. Thank you. Christy, our beautiful addition to our celebration, these beautiful weeks that we come together for celebration and joy and settling into that knowledge, the notion that we are the very essence of peace at our heart's core. Peace is born of love. That is absolutely right on. Absolutely right on. Peace is born of love. And Ernest Holmes said, I think it was in his final sermon by the sea, basically the final sermon he ever gave, he said, show me someone who is for something and against nothing, and I will show you the next Jesus. And I think it's really important that we understand that when we stand for something and against nothing, and I'll tell you, that ain't easy. Because I find myself frequently, me, the spiritual giant before you, right? I find myself going to that place of standing against things. And it takes work for me to step away from that paradigm, to step away from thinking I have to be against this. It's not always easy. Life ain't easy. But I am free to be me, living life fully and fearlessly. That's what I stand for. I stand for peace and I stand for love. Because if we are the expression of love, then we have to start acting like it. But that starts right here. It starts with us. And you're right, how do we engage and behave from the point of view of our local communities? Because it's really, I'll tell you what is easy. It's easy to go out and be in groups of people and protest and raw and carry your signs. But what are you doing the hour after that protest is over? What are you doing the next day? Are you stepping into the life you would like to experience? Or are you saying, well, that was a lovely protest, and yes, I did that. But now I'm going to go over here and in my personal life be something that is counter to what I was professing. Something to think about. Today's talk is what lies within. What lies within. And there are a couple ways that I'm going to talk about the idea of what lies within, but I'm going to start with this quote of Emerson, one of my favorite quotes of Emerson, and if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see that I posted this yesterday. He wrote this, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are but tiny matters compared to what lies within us." What lies behind us and what lies before us are but tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So that's where we begin today, with this notion. Remember who you are. Remember that core. Remember the love at the core of your beingness, right at the center of your heart space. Because that's the point from which all activity flows forth. All activity. And if we can be respectful and live in loving kindness more now than ever before, by doing the work that it takes to actually engage, not just as a nice idea, but acting in a way that is rooted in loving kindness, we will change the world. We have the capacity, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 19. We have the capacity, the 19 of us, thank you. to transform the world in this instant. Do you believe that that's true? The 19 of us right here and right now can set an intention that is so strong with love rooted in our heart that we can create change worldwide. Do you believe that's true? Yes. Do you believe that it's true that one of you could be so focused and so rooted in loving kindness that you alone could change the entire world? Samantha did it. Why not you? Why not you? It is a challenging notion, right? Because we think, oh, well, but we're taught. We're taught to be less than. We're taught to diminish ourselves. We're taught to be humble. You know, the root of the word humble comes from the word humus, which means the ground. It means literally to be groveling on the ground in the dirt. Is that the life you would like to lead? No. No. I would like to lead a life of extravagance in a way that is supporting the concept of love throughout everything. Everything I encounter is rooted in love. Everything that is at the core of my being, what lies within my beingness, is love. If it were not the case, I wouldn't be here. And that's the other thing to know. Irrespective of the things we see in the world, the atrocities we see in the world, we are always weighted on the side of love and kindness and forward momentum and evolution. And you know why I know that? Because if that were not the case, if we were not weighted on that side of it, we would have completely destroyed ourselves right now. We would not be here. We would not exist. I believe that fully. So today we begin with actually, there's threefold idea that comes to me from my previous spiritual center, and the center where I became a minister. We then adopted this at the center where I served as a spiritual director for 6 years in Toronto, Ontario, and I'm really thinking that it's time to adopt it here, and it is this notion: love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. You will hear me mention these things in my talks a lot, but I've never really talked about those three things. Love only, forgive everything. Ooh, that's a big one for some people. And remember who you are. Those three things, if we root ourselves in those three notions, those three concepts, we do become that one alone in consciousness with the infinite that constitutes a complete majority. It takes work. It takes work. I have a metaphor about that work that has expressed itself to me this week. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see I've had some work happening that I've engaged in at my home. And, you know, we had this nice idea, oh, let's paint the kitchen. So we're repainting our kitchen. And, you know, the first thing is, well, we chose some lovely paint colors. I'm like, oh, we're going to do this. Let's go get some paint. We're going to do it. But if you're going to do it right, there's a lot that goes with that. So the first thing we had to do is we had to remove all the cabinet doors, right? And remove everything from the kitchen, which includes our refrigerator, which is now sitting in our living room, and our stove, which is now sitting in our dining room. We have a completely unfunctional kitchen right now. Right? So we removed the cabinet doors, moved everything out of the kitchen, but part of the issue was we had to remove the hinges from the cabinets, and then also from the doors. And then my less than loving kindness person comes out when I think to myself and express to those who are working with me, who paints hinges? The people previous painted the hinges. Yeah, don't paint hinges, please, ever. Judgment alert. Because what happens is we have a choice to make. We're either going to remove the hinges, and what do we count? There are 48 in all. 48 hinges that my dad was helping me with the project. So we remove all the hinges, and then we're thinking, well, we're going to, soak them in a paint stripper, and we're going to go through and clean them all. And then we thought, no, it's just easier to go on the internet and buy new hinges. So we have bought new hinges. But here's part of what happened is as we were digging away and trying to get the paint out of the grooves of the Phillips head screws so that we could actually get the drill in there and get the screws out so we could take the hinges off, I started thinking about all of those layers of paint. Just like all of the layers that we put upon ourselves to, in some ways, protect ourselves or to give ourselves a shiny, glossy coat, to hide the things that are true underneath. Why do we hide those things? What is the love that we are hiding? What is it we are so afraid to show? What is it that we are so afraid to show? I think I know what it is. It is our vulnerability. We are afraid to show our vulnerability because when we show our vulnerability, what we are saying is, I know who I am, I know who you are, and I'm willing to be whatever I need to be right here and right now. But it's scary for people. It's scary for people. Brene Brown says that your vulnerability is your strength, and I have come to believe that so deeply in my practice. So we release these excess layers of paint, decades of buildup, and I've got a few decades of buildup too that I'm still working on stripping away. What lies within, what lies underneath, what it is this magnificent. It is magnificent, but it may be something also that we need to reconsider. What lies within is love, but those decades of buildup are like scars that we have built up over our beingness so that we have a protection from the world. And that's what a scar is. It is creating a layer of protection, right? Because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to be hurt. But we decide that we are going to be hurt on some level because of past ideas, past precedent. And we claim very strongly within this philosophy that principle is not bound by precedent. Very jargony thing to say. But what it means, it's actually troward. Principle is not bound by precedent. But what it actually means is this. There's nothing about who you are right in this moment that has anything to do with anything from your past. So if you're ready and willing to let that go and be fully present in this moment, the shift occurs. The evolutionary shift occurs. So that's getting rid of those excess layers. Then we have to clean all of the paint with TSP, trisodium phosphate, spackle the holes, sand everything down, vacuum. I've vacuumed my kitchen a number of times now. And then you slap on the primer, and after several days this week, we're at that point where I think we're ready to actually put paint color on the wall. So painting a new coat is lovely. It's lovely. But you have to set up the foundation for it to actually stick, for it to actually take. And that's the next part. Those people who painted over the hinges, that was easy. They slap on a coat of paint, and then I can see in the back of our cabinets where the paint chips away, because they didn't properly prepare the surface. But we also have to properly prepare our surfaces. We have to properly prepare our foundations so that when we do step forward into the world in a place that is vulnerable and loving and open, that we are properly prepared to be expressed fully, fearlessly, right here and right now. So just like mind, our work is to create a solid foundation. It is to create a solid foundation. And what lies within this foundation is your magnificence. Your magnificence is rooted in the foundation. You can slap whatever coat of paint you want on top of it, but your foundation will always shine through, no matter what. And what's really great is you get to decide what that paint looks like as well. We did an exercise in class last week called Discovering Your God. Discovering your God. Now, those of you who are in class, don't give it away. Discovering your God, as though God is something to be obtained and possessed. Here's the real discovering your God. Get it? Discovering you are God. That's the truth of you. Because God is simply the energy of love. God is not something, some person out there. God is who we are. Through this class, right? We came up with all these wonderful synonyms for the attributes and the qualities of God. And we did this through the exercise, and I'm going to give away the exercise a little bit. I invited everyone to close their eyes and imagine that they were having lunch with a really close friend. And that as you were having your lunch or coffee, or however you chose to be with that really close friend, what were the feelings and the qualities and the attributes of that relationship, of that person that came up? Whoop. That's what we came up with last week. Expanded, compassionate, celebration, peace, empowering, sense of humor, grounding, love, acceptance, home, satisfaction, joy, seen, equality, understood, connected, kindness. This is the truth of God. This is the truth of God. God is an interpersonal relationship you have with yourself. And if you can begin to root yourself in these ideas as the relationship with yourself, that you are expanded and compassionate, living life in celebration and empowering. If you have a sense of humor, we need a sense of humor. I love having a sense of humor. One of the big ones for me is equality, because when I know who I am, when I remember who I am, and I know it about every single person I encounter, there can be nothing but equality within that. To know who you are is the great equalizer. So that's what we came up with, and I thought it was so beautiful. So beautiful. Now, discovering you are God, you notice the difference there. Yeah. We have set up and we have set it up so that what we need to truly understand is this. You are greatness on demand. That's what God is. Greatness on demand. That's who you are. So are you ready to celebrate that today? Are you ready to truly embody that today? Because that's truly what lies within. Greatness on demand. It is fully available to you always, right in this moment. And in this moment. And in this moment. Never underestimate the power of your mind. Never underestimate the power of your beingness. Never underestimate that you are greatness on demand. That's my message today. And that's all I really want to say. I know everybody loves when I do the random reading, but I feel like that's a complete thing in and of itself today. And that's how I want to leave it today. So I'm not going to do the random reading today. I trust you will honor my decision because, let's face it, I'm in charge here. Because I am greatness on demand. And so what I would love to do is to allow ourselves to settle into this, root this into our hearts with our song. And as we sing the song together, I'll change some of the lyrics so you can follow along. It's very simple. This is basically the whole song here. Just allow yourself to come to that place of quiet reflection, that place of understanding, that place where we can see the root of the root. That place where we recognize the light within our soul beginning to expand, and allow that to grow right here in the stillness.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment I feel peace. In the stillness of this moment I feel peace. I feel peace. In the stillness of this moment, I feel peace. I feel peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I feel peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. Just take that in. Allow yourself to feel the peace of this moment. Allow yourself to feel yourself as the presence of love in this here and now moment. I am grateful and honored to be of service right here and right now. Blessings to you. Namaste.
Tucson New Thought is a spiritual community that is supported through your generosity, entirely supported through your generosity. And I'm going to invite you to take out whatever it is you're offering the center today, your investment, your gift, your contribution, your tithe. It doesn't matter what you call it. What it is the energy of love in action, for that is what money is. It's love in action. It is God in action. It is this greatness on demand in action in this world. And as we share, we keep in circulation with life. And as we share, it comes back to us and we keep in the flow. And that's what it's all about. That's why money is called currency, because it's a current, right? So I'm going to invite you to take out whatever it is. We have many options for giving. We can give cash or checks. We do take cards. If you're online, you can go to our website and make a donate, and engage in this activity of giving by clicking on the donate button on our website. But I honor your commitment and vision, commitment to our vision and mission, and the blessings that you share. So let's read together our divine givingness statement as we hold what it is we're offering today. And let's root this in the truth of this statement. Here we go. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Indeed it does. And as William takes the basket around, I'm going to let you know a couple of things that are happening here at the center. Next Sunday is the last Sunday of the month, and we invite you all to join us. We do have Potluck Sunday on the last Sunday of the month. Here's the thing about Potluck Sunday. You are welcome to bring a dish, or you are welcome to bring yourself and just eat the food that is brought, because there's always so much food we never are without. But we encourage you to participate in Potluck Sunday next Sunday and the last Sunday of every single month. The Discover You class, today is the final day of that course. It was a 3-week course, and today's the 3rd week. Can you believe it, right? So that concludes today. You don't have to have been to the previous 2. If you'd like to join us today, you are welcome to join us today. It starts at 12 noon, which is about an hour from now. Weekly meditation is offered each Wednesday at 6 p.m. If you have a request for prayer support, there are prayer request forms on the table over here, and you can put it into the nice, beautiful yes box. I call it the yes box because once you put it in, the universe says yes to whatever it is you are expecting. And if you're joining us for the first time today and you'd like to be on our mailing list, we have a gift to offer you if you sign up. If you give us your email address today, you will get 5 pre-recorded prayers prepared by me for you to encourage and engage you, supporting you in primary areas of your life. So I'd love for you to do that. While I put my offering in, I'm going to invite Mirta, if you would please, come up. She has something she'd like to express to you. Please welcome Mirta Nebecker.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me all right? Because I know the microphone is tricky. So Reverend Jonathan and I both completed a training as volunteers for the Casa Salitas, which is the migrant center. It's where we receive migrants that are requesting asylum. And I've been working there for a while, and I prepare material, and of course I left it at home, requesting donations. We're running out of clothing. People come with what they have on their backs. And so through donations, they can go to what we call the store and pick up 2 sets of something, you know, tops and bottoms and underwear and shoes. And we're running out of those. So I'm just trying to see if you would like to help. Reverend Jonathan kindly said that you can bring donations here. You said Monday, 1 to...
I'm typically here Mondays from 10 to 4, so if you can drop it off during that time, that's great.
Or next Sunday.
Or next Sunday as well. But what we're basically saying is, bring it here, we'll make sure it gets there.
Right, I will take it. I'll personally take it. So basically what we need is people there, they're my size, so imagine how little they are. Most women are very tiny like I am, and men are not that much bigger. So belts are a necessity right now. The Border Patrol takes away their belts and shoelaces, and so they're flopping around holding their pants. So belts that are small, 31 to 34 inches for men. Women, anything that you have. A tip, you can buy girls sizes 14 and 16, and they fit in those. So girls sizes, because I know you guys, Americans, are big people. So you're not going to have small little things.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I donated a lot of my stuff, and everything fits, you know. So belts and shoelaces, and again, shoes, tennis shoes, flip-flops. And if you're generous enough to go to Walgreens or CVS, they need toiletries. So the little traveling sizes, toothpaste, deodorants, combs, razors, and hairbrushes. I have an address here, which of course I forgot everything that I was going to distribute, but I'm going to leave it up there. If you're interested in being a volunteer yourself, here's the contact. And thank you very much. If you can help, thank you.
Is this the place on Craig Rock?
No, we have moved from the monastery. Sorry, we have moved from the monastery to what used to be the juvenile detention center. It's 2225 South Ajo, way down south. But if you take the freeway, if you take the freeway and get off Ajo, you'll find it. But you can also call me, and I'll give you more directions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mirta.
Love in action, right?
Love in action. This is who we get to be in the world. Yes. One more thing I'm just going to make a quick announcement, if it's all right. The full moon release party we had originally scheduled for October 12th. It's going to instead be on Tuesday, October 15th, because Karimon, who facilitates that wonderful, wonderful experience, and if you haven't done it, I'm encouraging you all to do it. I've done it twice now, and I always walk away illuminated with something in my life. She had to change the date because she's going to be out of town the weekend prior. So we're going to do it on the Tuesday following the full moon. So just put that in your calendar. William, if you would, please. Just take this moment to reflect right here and right now on all that has been collected here, and knowing that it is for the good of the center and the good of the world in general, because we are a reflection of this world. So as we have taken it in, we know that it is the power and presence of this greatness on demand that we all are, for we are all one infinite energy expressing magnificently right here and right now. So I am in deep gratitude for all that has been collected here, and know that it moves through this time and this place for the good of each and every one of us. Knowing this to be so, I allow it, I release and let go, and trust and know, as together we say, And so it is. Thank you. All right. You ready to lift up the energy and end our celebration today with a nice, with a nice energetic song? What do you say? All right, let's do this. Thank you so much for being here today. If you think there's nothing new under the sun, if it's possible, it's already been done. If you think the stage has all been set, think again. You ain't seen nothing yet. The sun'll come up with a wave of your hand. You're smack dab in the middle of the promised land. It all turned out just the way that you planned. Believe it, you will see it. If you think you finally made your bed, there ain't nothing down that road ahead. If you think this is as good as it gets, wanna bet? You ain't seen nothing yet. The sun'll come up with a wave of your hand. You're smack dab in the middle of the promised land. It all turned out just the way that you planned. Believe it, you will see it. Believe it, you will see it. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Enjoy snacks provided today by William and Anita and Mirta. Thank you so much. Thank you to Christy. Thank you to Darwin and Jerry and everybody. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.